is this something that only an attorney can draft, or is this something that the individual party can draft themselves as well too?
Right. So again, it's going to depend on where kind of the person is at in this process, right? Mm-hmm. If it's urgent, they've likely talked to a realtor, right? They know kind of what the property's worth, and they're ready to go. And so they're going to come in and say, you know, I've talked to, you know, Jose. He tells me that this property is worth about $500,000, right? So, you know, either you give me the $250 for my half, or, you know, let's list it with Jose, you know, within the month, something like that. And I will do my best. And my recommendation is always to be as amicable as you can. You know, mm-hmm. Kill them with kindness. It's always the way to go with this stuff. And you do not have to have an attorney, right? And at that phase, you don't need one, right? It's if the conversation breaks down, right? They're not willing to talk. They're not open to the conversation. Your way out. You can sell your half, right? You could sell your half. It is a viable. Each owner has fee simple ownership. They could sell, but you're going to get a lot less selling half of a property than selling a whole property, right? Half of a property with whoever the partner is worth way less than the whole being sold, right?
So they could also sell. Yeah, I didn't even think about it. They could sell their interest, but it's going to be 50% of a property where maybe the partner isn't the greatest partner,
right?
Or maybe you're inheriting other stuff, so it's going to be at a discount.
Yeah. Well, and who's going to want to, you know, again, we're talking about getting married to someone, right? You know, so they got to feel comfortable with the other partners that it's going to work for them, right? So, you know, selling your half is almost always going to result in a discount on the pricing, right? But so if that breaks down, right, that initial try to do it amicably, try to work it through, if it breaks down, then and you need out, right, and really want out, the court is a viable option, and that's where the partition action is. It is a lawsuit, right? So you're going to go to the court and you're going to ask the court to partition the property, right? And that means divide it. So it doesn't necessarily mean sell it, though, right? So people often think, oh, I'm going to go do a partition action, the court's going to sell the property. That is one of the remedies. So when you go to law school, we have a whole class on what's called remedies, right? So when you sue someone and they do something wrong, your remedy is what you get for what they did. So a remedy in this kind of thing is money, right? Sell the property, I get my share. Or again, the other partner could buy out your interest, right? They could take over. So the court would say, and often that's what's going on in these cases, is there's a disagreement on what it's worth, right? So the guy who doesn't want to sell thinks it's worth more or less, or likes the income, right? You know, all kinds of those factors, right? So the court will be the one to say, this is what it's worth, and this is what, and then the one who doesn't want to sell will have the option to buy it, or they'll force the sale, right? They will not. The courts almost never force someone to stay in a deal, right?
So if I'm understanding correctly, the first step would be to try to communicate with the other party and try to make it happen in an amicable way, so that therefore it doesn't go to litigation. If for whatever reason you can't resolve that, then the next step would be to go the partition action, which is basically a lawsuit.
Yep.
And at that point, the judge would decide what the remedy would be, which would be either for the partner to buy out your half. If that's not possible, then the other option might be to sell the property at that time.